Now at 6, it's been a busy week in Jefferson City. We'll break down a couple of bills making their way through the legislature, including one that could save you money in the checkout line. Plus, how a partnership between Joplin Schools and Freeman Health System aims to keep students in school. And
the company working to breathe life into the old Olivia building in Joplin is now tackling another downtown landmark. I'm Chris Warner. We'll tell you what the future holds for the former YMCA.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Another round of wintry weather could mean more headaches for drivers in the 4 states. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Bronte Sorotsky. Doug Hetty joins us with a first look at weather.
Yeah, another round of wintry weather, which will cause some issues on the roadways. Of course, prior to this event, it's cold, so the roads are now cooling down, so they're ready for a little bit of sleet and ice. Not sure that we are, but even though on the Kansas side you're not under any advisories, just means you haven't hit the criteria, but you're still going to get some wintry weather. Weather advisory through Miami, through Joplin, up towards Stockton Lake, and then everybody in the pink, this is a winter storm warning, freezing rain and sleet and a little bit of snow as well. We did get some spitting snow out there today, even a little bit of freezing drizzle behind the system that rolled through last night. These clouds are actually going to break up a little bit as we go through the overnight hours. Here's our main storm system, which is going to roll out as we go through the next 36 hours. Until then, it's cold, lower 20s right now. We'll slide back into the lower teens, so a super cold night. Sleet and snow start to pick up by 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. I'm going to break that down for you here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. More than 100 candidates filed for the August primary election in Missouri, even though many of them don't know what area of the state they'll be representing. A panel of judges is now working to draw lines for the 34 Senate districts. Missouri's 8 congressional seats and half of the Senate seats, the even-numbered ones, are some of the offices up for grabs. Candidates are also vying for Senator Roy Blunt's Senate seat. The senior senator announced his retirement last year. Missouri lawmakers are working to change the state's election process. A bill in the House would require photo ID and an update of the voter rolls. The bill would also revoke state funding for any local election authorities who fail to comply with new regulations. Proponents say the changes are necessary to prevent voter fraud. According to New York University's Brennan Center for Justice, 34 restrictive voting laws passed in 19 states last year. Grocery shopping during this time of inflation is zapping so many wallets. Tonight, there's new movement in Missouri to get rid of the state tax you pay. Reporter Jenna Ray has more.
I go to the grocery store probably 3 times a week.
Schnucks shopper Nicole Mellon says, take the tax away.
I would appreciate it. I have 2 growing boys, and groceries keep getting more expensive.
She says with inflation and rising prices, any break would help. A break. That's what Jefferson County Representative Mary Elizabeth Coleman says her goal is with House Bill 1992.
All the prices are going up everywhere, and I was checking my receipt and I saw that we still had a tax for groceries, and it piqued my interest.
The Arnold lawmaker wants that 1% grocery tax gone. Currently, it helps fund public schools.
It's about a $80 to $140 million reduction that we'll see in the state's budgets. But I think that we're going to be able to absorb that.
Missouri is one of 13 states that taxes your groceries. As of 2020, Mississippi, one of the country's poorest states, taxes the highest at 7%. Representative Coleman says without this tax, schools will not suffer.
I think that there's room to offset that expense, and I just am really not nervous about it. I think that we can do both, make sure that these regressive taxes that hit the poorest of the poor can be taken off the books, and also make sure that we're able to fund education fully.
That move makes some Missourians nervous.
I would prefer that the money, we go ahead and pay the tax for the groceries and let it go to the school system. I have grandchildren and I want to make sure they get good educations, and I want them to have the opportunities that my kids had because they really had a good education.
Debbie Owens tells News 4 the extra tax tacked onto her receipt isn't a big deal, but she'd take the break if it didn't mean less for education.
Just not take away. I think that anything we can give them to help is a great opportunity.
The bill is still going through committee right now, but if it's passed by lawmakers this spring, it will go into effect at the beginning of next year. The Kansas House has approved a proposed amendment to the state constitution to make it easier for the legislature to overturn state agencies' regulations. Under the proposal, lawmakers could repeal regulations with simple majority votes in both chambers. Lawmakers now must pass a bill and obtain the governor's approval, or 2/3 legislative majorities to override a veto. Most Democrats see the measure as a political attack on Governor Laura Kelly, but Republicans say they're trying to curb bureaucrats' power. The measure went to the Senate. Freeman Health System today gave students at Joplin's McKinley Elementary a first-hand look at new telemedicine technology going into schools in the district. Officials say the program allows students to go to medical appointments without leaving school and without parents having to leave work.
Well, it's definitely a significant improvement and another option that our families and our faculty and staff and students have to get immediate and proper care if there's an issue that arises while they're at school.
The program will go live at McKinley next week. It will be available at other schools by spring break. Still ahead, a piece of Joplin's past has a bright future. We'll hear from the developers behind plans for a renovation and reimagination of the downtown YMCA, and how local students are showing their appreciation for area frontline workers. The developers working on the historic Olivia building in downtown Joplin are preparing to take on another landmark, the former YMCA building. KOAM's Chris Warner met with the developer about their plans for the building.
The old YMCA building in downtown is currently dark, empty, quiet, a shadow of its former self. But that's about to change as developer Blue Haven Homes gets ready to breathe new life into the facility.
We are going to be turning it into apartments on floors 2 through 5 with some commercial space in the lobby.
Sawyer Smith is the Director of Business Development with Blue Haven Homes. He took time to show us around the building as it stands right now. There's still signs inside that it once was the YMCA, and that history is important to the overall plans.
The big one is we want to keep the YMCA feel, so we're going to be keeping the pool in the basement. And really trying to transform a lot of the basement area into a gym and keep that activity focus of what the YMCA used to be for so many people around Joplin.
While this building isn't in the same shape the Olivia building was, there are still some challenges.
Is going to be taking a building that was not designed as apartments and turning it into apartments. But we're working with some really great architecture firms here locally in Joplin. And then Neal Group Construction is the developer on this project who's doing the Olivia building. So we're really confident in their abilities to sort out whatever they need to sort out to make this project a success.
Smith says they recently got a historic designation for the building, opening the doors for some help on the project.
There's a few different financing things that come into play that being a historic building makes it much easier to follow through.
In addition to the 45 apartment units, there's plans for other community spaces.
We'd love to put a deli, coffee shop type area in there for all the tenants above, and just a quick lunch pickup for people in the downtown area.
Smith says this project, combined with the Olivia, should benefit people beyond the residents.
So we really hope that that adds to some really cool dynamics within the downtown area.
In downtown Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Smith says they're still very early in the planning stages, so an opening date is still too early to set. Members of the Carthage Family Career and Community Leaders of America today showed their appreciation for area frontline workers. The FCCLA delivered care packages, 100 of them to nurses at Freeman and Mercy hospitals. The care packages included lotions, chapstick, and sweet treats.
It's great to have a snack on difficult days. Sometimes you don't always get a lunch, so to get these snacks, it's awesome. Yeah.
The Carthage FCCLA has 40 members. Later, a local softball standout signs on to play at the next level, and she'll be staying close to home.
Plus another round of wintry weather heading toward us. We're going to check that out coming up.
Downstream.
Big switch for us today. Lower 70s yesterday. We had some scattered thunderstorms, especially along the south of I-44 last night. Even a couple strong to severe in our southern counties. Arctic front today. So we swung right back to winter. We do have a winter storm warning in effect. These are going to be the counties kind of in the pinkish color from Grand Lake to Neosho, Monette, Mount Vernon, all the way down toward Bentonville. In the purple, this is a winter weather advisory, so the criteria is a little bit less, the moisture is going to be a little bit lighter, and then still wintry weather on the Kansas side, just not as heavy and not high enough to hit that criteria. It doesn't mean we won't go into it by the time we head into tomorrow. Look at the 70s yesterday. That Arctic front rolled through and we plummeted, and then we've been hanging out kind of into the mid-20s, mid to low 20s throughout the daytime hours. We slide back into the teens as we go into the overnight hours. I actually think most of us will bottom out kind of 10 to 11 degrees a little bit later on tonight. So it is going to be cold across the entire area. Clouds breaking up a bit. We had some flurries, a little bit of freezing drizzle out there earlier today. So a little bit of clearing later on tonight. Main system rolling out into the southwestern parts of the U.S. This is going to shoot two waves of energy at us. So we'll get our first wave tomorrow, our second wave on Thursday. Tonight, just cold. Clouds increase late, and then snow moves in mid to late morning. Here's 10:30. I think we're going to start to snow, and this is due to that Arctic air being a little bit stronger than what we first anticipated. So we'll most likely start as snow. Right above the ground, about 1,000 feet, there's warming going on. So as that warms, it switches our snow to sleet. So we go to sleet by early afternoon. Now, northwestern counties, Yates Center, Iola, Chanute, Independence, Neodesha, even Fort Scott, you're not going to get much. Maybe not anything tomorrow, maybe just a few flurries. Most of this is going to be along and south of I-44, but we could get a quick half an inch of sleet, and even on the onset, we may get a quick inch of snow. And then we go to just light snow showers, light sleet showers tomorrow evening, may even back down to some freezing drizzle for most of tomorrow night. And then here comes the second wave, moderate sleet again. So this is Thursday morning. Now our western counties get into the action, and then eventually we end with a little bit of light snow by Thursday afternoon. So here's a timeline. Nothing really beginning until late morning into the early afternoon. Most likely start as snow, go to sleet and freezing rain all the way through Thursday, and then we end with a little bit of snow. All right, ice amounts, I think we're mainly sleet, not that much freezing rain, so I'm going to keep these a little lower. A glaze north of I-44, 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch south of I-44. Sleet and snow, this is real hard to figure out because if we get a little more snow, we're going to get 3-4 inches of snow. If we stay mainly sleet, we're going to get upwards of an inch of sleet, a little bit less on the Kansas side, but we are going to have some tricky roads tomorrow afternoon and lasting through the daytime hours on Thursday. Cold as well, 23 tomorrow, 29 Thursday, 30 on Friday, back above freezing by the weekend.
Definitely big changes in the weather, and important to make sure we're being safe on the roads out there. All right, thanks, Doug.
Yep.
People in Joplin had the chance today to help the Shoal Creek Conservation Center. Folks could stop by and count the birds at feeder and learn about Project Feeder Watch.
The number of individuals of each species, that really tells us what's happening in the environment, whether it's getting colder sooner, if it's getting warmer faster. All these things all play in a role in something as small as birds, something that we may not even think about all the time.
This is the third year the Shoal Creek Conservation Center has invited people out for Project Feeder Watch. Coming up in sports, national recognition for Pitt State runner Mason Strader. And a Pittsburgh High School senior signs to continue her softball career in college. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
Pittsburgh State runner Mason Strader has been named the Division II National Men's Track and Field Athlete of the Week. Strader put his name in the history books on Friday, competing at the University of Arkansas qualifier. The PSU junior won the mile race in 3 minutes, 58.47 seconds. He's the first Pitt State men's runner ever to break the 4-minute mark in the mile. His time is the 4th fastest mark in Division II history. Here's Strader on his performance and earning the national honor.
I was actually in a class this morning and my roommates reached out to me and said, hey, congratulations, you're Athlete of the Week. And I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize that. And previously, Garrett Apier was the only gorilla in Pitt State to win the Indoor Athlete of the Week nationally. So to join him, he's a legend of this program. So to get in that class, it was an honor. I was very humbled.
Pittsburgh High School senior Elle Slaughter signs today to continue her softball career at the next level. Slaughter will be staying in Southeast Kansas, signing this afternoon to play at Labette Community College. Slaughter will play catcher for the Cardinals next season. She'll be a 4-year starter when the Dragons start the spring season. Slaughter has been playing basically her whole life and is excited to have the opportunity to keep playing at Labette.
What stood out to me about Labette was I got to actually practice with their team, and I meshed with the girls so well, and they were all very welcoming. And the coaching was great, and I loved being able to practice with them because it really gave me a feel for how softball was going to be there in their program. Softball is just something I know like the back of my hand, and I don't think I would ever stop playing. Obviously, it's not a lifelong sport, but growing up with softball, this is a very great opportunity for me.
Well, tonight is the final night of the regular season for Carthage High School basketball. The Tigers are on the road this evening facing COC rival Webb City. Now, the boys' game features two of the best in Southwest Missouri. Carthage is 18-6 this season. Webb City 16-8 and currently ranked 6th in the state in Class 5. That game's scheduled to begin around 7:30. We'll have highlights right here tonight at 10. As for the girls' game in Webb City, Carthage trying to avoid a 3-game losing streak heading into the district playoffs. That game has already started. Right now, Webb City's up 6-0 just a few minutes in. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
We take time now to honor a local veteran. Sergeant Gary Wilson served in the U.S. Army. He's from Gass, Kansas, and we are proud to salute Sergeant Gary Wilson, tonight's 4-state hero. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We'll hear about an incentive program to bring new houses to Joplin. Also, President Biden warns of economic pain in the U.S. if the Russia-Ukraine situation further deteriorates. And a big milestone for the Las Vegas wedding industry. That and more tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Well, we're just a few weeks away from St. Patrick's Day, and do you know what that means? It's Shamrock Shake season. McDonald's is not only serving its classic dessert, but its Oreo-flavored counterpart, the Shamrock McFlurry. The longtime favorite Shamrock Shake was first sold in 1970 and is made with vanilla soft-serve ice cream, mint flavors, and whipped topping. The Shamrock Shake and the Oreo Shamrock McFlurry will only be available for a limited time. Let's take a final look at the forecast, Doug.
All right, it's going to be cold for us tonight. We're going to drop back into lower teens. The clouds are going to break up just a little bit. 23 for us tomorrow. We're going to have sleet and snow picking up, especially along and south of I-44. This is going to be mid to late morning and then light sleet through the afternoon, some freezing drizzle tomorrow night. Another round of sleet and snow on Thursday, so we are going to have some tricky spots on the roads. At least sunshine returns Friday, back above freezing by the weekend.
All right, and what do we have coming up in sports?
Carthage Webb City, not the only big game in Southwest Missouri tonight. The Neosho boys on the road against Joplin in a big COC rivalry game. We'll have the latest from that one right here tonight at 10.
All right, well, thanks for watching. We'll see you right back here at 10. Have a great evening.